Hi, everybody. Dan Illman along with Matt Bernier. Nice IFB. Taking a look at the Penn National card on Saturday, by the way, is just a sensational card. One of the feature races, one of the mainstays of the Penn National meet is the $200,000 Pennsylvania Governor's Cup. And you can play that race. You can play the entire Penn National card, including the Penn Mile, your Saturday DRF Bets race of the day, with your new DRF Bets account. Join the Belmont Stakes action with free cash. Learn more at drf.com/bet. Big field expected for the $200,000 Pennsylvania Gold Cup. We'll take a look at it right now. These are sprinters going 5 furlongs on the lawn. We hope that this race stays on the turf. We hope this race stays intact. Favorite's going to be on the outside. That's the 12 Pure Sensation. When Pure Sensation is right, Matt, he's one of the better turf sprinters in the country, third in the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint in 2016, beaten less than a length and a half in last year's Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint, but he's only raced once since, and he kind of bombed at 2-5 at Gulfstream.
Yeah, disappointing effort there down at Gulfstream in April. He was supposed to get the job done and didn't do it, obviously. And you can look at it from a speed figure standpoint as well. This is one of the worst races he's run in a long, long time. But you bring up the important thing, I think, for me anyway, that when this horse is right, he's one of the best turf sprinters in the country, let alone in a race like this. He's certainly the horse to beat. I guess the interesting thing is going to be to find out how he is ridden in a spot like this, because he's been forward in the past, but he's also shown some versatility where he can come from a little bit farther off of it. I'm going to be interested to see what Irad Ortiz does.
What does he do from the outside post? Do you have to send him to get position? I mean, you can't take a hold of a horse like Pure Sensation and then maybe be forced 4 or 5 wide with plenty of speeds to your inside. I think you have to be somewhat aggressive, and the problem is you've got a horse like the 10 Raised Warrior who's nothing but speed.
Yeah, I agree with that. You also have Midtown Charlie Brown. We'll find out if he can transition that sort of good speed over to the turf. But I agree, you don't want to come from too far out of it. And he's kind of darned if you do, darned if you don't. You're going to be hung wide one way or the other. There's no doubt about it. But I think you're a little bit better off being forwardly placed 4 or 5 wide going into the turn, as opposed to trying to come from 6, 7 off of it being 4 or 5 wide.
I think the Timeform U.S. Pace Projector's pretty kind for the favorite in here. They have him in third and not too far off of the rail. I think Raised Warrior, the 10, will eventually make the lead for that turf sprint guru Jason Service, who took over Raised Warrior's training, put him in for the 62.5 tag last time out at Gulfstream, and layoff schmayoff. This horse was tremendous last time out on the lead. 94 Beyer speed figure. This is what the Service barn does. They get these horses ready to sprint, and if this horse gets to the lead over the number 9, who's more dirt speed, Raised Warrior could be tough.
I'll tell you what, Service does so many things good, but you want to talk about taking horses that have shown decent form and just getting the most out of them, but particularly in turf sprints. That's what this guy does, and that's what this horse is all about. If Raised Warrior, I agree with you, if he can clear over, because I think he's faster than the 9 horses naturally. If he can clear over and maybe Pure Sensation has a little bit of extra ground to carry, all of a sudden Raised Warrior with the highest last out buyer in the field with the 94 is very interesting.
Midtown Charlie Brown, 2 questions must be asked. A, is he fast enough on turf, or as fast on turf as he is on dirt? He is very fast out of the gate on dirt. Is he as good on turf? I mean, he's 6 for 10 on dirt. He's only raced once on the turf. That was way back last summer, and he just didn't fire at all as the favorite.
Yeah, I guess that's the big concern for me, is that not only has he only tried turf one time and he's proven on the dirt, but also the speed just did not transition. I mean, he was much farther back in that turf sprint, and we've talked about it. Proper turf sprinters are just naturally fast and gifted. They can go. I do wonder, is this horse going to be a little bit outrun? And if that's the case, I don't like his chances.
The 11 Triple Burner is a pretty cool horse, although he doesn't win very often. His most recent score came back in October of 2016. But last time out, his first start of the year, he caught a fast horse, Rocket Heat, who just basically wired him. It was nice to see him pop a career best buyer in his first start as a 6-year-old. And if there is some pace, maybe he'll come rolling late.
If you believe the 92 makes him a fringe contender, then why not take a shot on a big number? He's going to have a little bit of speed. I know that most recent run he came from farther out of it, but I like the fact that he can be closer if needed. You're right, he doesn't win very often, but he's one that if you're playing an exotic, I think you have to consider underneath.
Conversely, the 3 Oak Bluffs is a win machine. He's won 15 of 41 lifetime, scored 2 starts back with a 95 Beyer speed figure, and I just think he did not like that boggy turf course during Preakness weekend in that turf sprint stakes. Plus, that horse Imprimis is undefeated and pretty promising.
I was going to say, he ran up against a pretty good one, an Imprimis. I suppose the concern for Oak Bluffs is what you just alluded to, the fact that I don't think he really appreciates some give in the ground, and it looks like one way or the other, there's going to be some moisture in the turf course. Let's hope, fingers crossed, they do run on it. You go back through that soft effort most recently, go back to the run at Laurel in August of last year over yielding ground. It was basically a non-effort, and May at Laurel. over yielding ground, non-effort. So I think you're really up against it if this horse catches anything less than firm going.
Jaguar Paws down towards the inside with the one you got to have. Art entered his main track only. This is a horse that's good on synth. He's good on dirt. He's yet to win on turf, but he ran a big race way back on December the 30th at Tampa Bay, and I guess if he runs that race, he's got a chance. My concern is there are times where he's not great out of the gate, and breaking from the inside post, he better be good from the gate.
I also would love to know where that one race came from. It was just sort of, he's done some good things in the past, but he's never been that fast. If you think you're going to get the 94 Jaguar Paws, he's got a chance in here. I don't know where that race came from.
Formulator fact for the number 5, Uncle Huge, the New York bred Demelza McMahon, past 4 years, older turf runners, first after the trainer Smitch, most of them from Hugh McMahon, but all at Penn National. 40% winners, a $2.60 return on investment. The buyers just haven't been there, though, in the last few races, and I wonder if this gelding really classes up.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, on paper, I don't think he's quite as good as the best runners in here.
Thought Dubini got a real good trip en route to that 99 buyer speed figure 2 starts back at Aqueduct, the old in-out under Kendrick Carmouche, getting beat 3/4 of a length by the in razor-sharp form Rainbow Air. Then came back at Tampa Bay and no match for Jaguar Paws. Another horse not great out of the gate's going to have to make up a lot of ground in the lane.
Also coming off of a pretty significant layoff here. Haven't seen him in almost 6 months, so you got to wonder what we're going to get off the long layoff.
Grass Hoppin is a horse that we know is good on dirt. He has not run on turf since August 22nd, 2015, and he ran into Paige McKenney that day, so I guess we can forgive him. I think the fact that we haven't seen him on the turf since then is an indication that the barn knows what he's best at.
Agreed. I mean, it's hard for me to, as a super move, but Claudio Gonzalez could work wherever ends up running. So maybe they're just taking a shot with that's in razor-sharp form. He's won 2 in a row.
Rapid Dan's last race had to be considered disappointing behind Triple Burner. There was a fast pace. He never ran at all. It was his first start as a 7-year-old. On his best, he's more of a low 90 buyer's horse than anything else.
Yeah, and I think you have to start wondering at 7 years old, as he lost a little bit on the fastball, and if that's the case, I don't think he can win in here.
I want to take a look at our top picks for the Pennsylvania Governor's Cup. It's a wide open race. Hopefully it stays intact. Hopefully it's on a relatively firm turf course. I'm going to talk about Pool Winner a little bit. This is a horse who kind of has lost his speed recently, and sometimes that's a sign that maybe this horse has had enough. But on his best day, Pool Winner is capable of running competitive races. Third in the Turf Monster back in 2016, winner off the layoff in 2017. And I thought last time out he faced some legitimate horses in the Silks Run Stakes. Pay Any Price came back to win with an 89 buyer. We all know Bucaro came back to run second in the Shakertown 94 buyer, then third in that Churchill Downs Turf Sprint with a 92. So those were some legitimate horses. Alan Goldberg does very well with turf sprinters. The horse is 10-1 on the morning line. I need him to get closer to the pace. I just hope he has that kind of speed at the age of 6.
Yeah, I like this horse. I think there's a lot to like here. I picked him second, and I think if you're taking a shot with a number, this is going to be the horse because not only, like you say, he's run against some good company recently. I like the fact that he's run well over ground with cutting it. You go 3 starts back, he ran well. You go back into early 2016, he ran well over ground with cutting it. And I kind of feel like there's a scenario where I know those last 2 races, he came from a little farther out of it. I wonder if that had to do with Gulfstream more than anything because you go through, he's been closer to the pace in many of his other turf sprints. So if he's only 2 or 3 lengths out of it when the real running starts, I think he's got a big chance.
And you like pure sensation, class tells on the grass, and this horse should be forwardly placed. Listen, if he runs his best race, they're going to have him nailed on tight to beat him.
Yeah, if he runs his best race, I think he's just better than everyone else. I think he's going to win in here. The question becomes, is that outside post compromising too much? And also, are we going to get his best race? Because that return effort was a little bit less than stellar. If he comes back to what his best form is, though, I think he's the winner.
Give me numbers.
12, 6, 3, 2.
I'm going to go 6, 10, 11 in the $200,000 Pennsylvania Governor's Cup. Race number 8 at Penn National. You can play it with a DRF Bets account. Join the Belmont Stakes action just in time with free cash. Learn more at drf.com/bet. Approximate post time for the Governor's Cup. 7:10 Eastern on Saturday evening at Penn National. Good luck.